Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ray Tampa Podcast. Our podcast offers bold commentary on various subject matters with a laser-like focus on the truth. My name is Ray Tampa. I'm the host of the Ray Tampa Podcast. We have in our studio Mr. Russell Cato, a retired educator with over 42 years of experience here in Pinellas County. And we have Mr. Jamie Wilson III, a healthcare provider with over 25 years of experience as a physical therapist. My co-host, my dynamic co-host. I would like to add a little more information about our team here at the Ray Tampa Podcast. First, we're all lifelong residents of St. Petersburg. We're all married with awesome families that we can spend hours celebrating our kids and their accomplishments. We represent three different generations: the silent, the baby boomers, and Generation X. We love working together. We all have a commitment to the truth. And we all understand and appreciate fully the concept of accountability. All this was said to give a little more context to today's discussion about, quote, why Black men may not participate in the electoral process, end of quote, specifically as it relates to our city, county, and state. A very famous boxer, Mike Tyson, once said, quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, end of quote. This statement, as applied to the recent elections between the two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, the Democrats not only got punched in the mouth, they got kicked in the ass and karate chopped in the head. The blows were bad. Now, the question is, why? Why did we get punched so badly? And what can we do about it? What can we do about it? Fellas, there's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking going on about the Democrats nationally, statewide, and locally. Let's take a look and see if we can offer anything to the reviews with a slant toward Black males' involvement or lack thereof. All right, Russ, what you got?
You know, when you look at this election, this thing is based on undecided voters. You ever notice that? That was the whole talk, the undecided voters. Now, it was very hard to change minds of these voters. See, because they went back to Trump economy, the pre-COVID economy. That's what they lived on. This economy, as far as Trump was concerned, it was a great thing for people. They were not hurting. They were able to travel. They were able to pay for their rent. They were able to pay for anything they went, Jamie. So actually, that is what they stayed on. Now, here's what the Democrats tried to do, and they knew they were in big trouble. They tried to come up with the right of women abortion, those kind of things. And just couldn't hold up against the economy. Just couldn't hold up. And see, when I look at, and here's another thing I believe, I can't prove it. I think Biden stayed in it too long. I really do. I think the time that they knew that Biden was, ate up, so to speak, they should have gotten him out a long time ago. Because what they were looking at, they dwell on his economy, Biden economy. What do you call it, Bidenomics?
Bidenomics.
Yeah. So they looked at that. Because they were concerned that the country was hurting. They couldn't feel it. Okay, y'all talking about the Biden economy is all right? God damn, man. I'm still hurting. I'm still paying for rent high.
Okay.
You see what I'm talking about?
Right.
So my thing is, we're trying to get these undecided votes to make a change.
Right.
They were not going to make a change. They were not going to make a change. You know, they were locked in on Trump pre-COVID economy. They weren't going to.
All right.
Good point.
So Trump benefited off what President Obama did.
That's correct.
That was the
Yeah.
benefit.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it just happened that, you know, he got the residual
Exactly.
of what President Obama got. And Biden Harris got the fuck up
Yeah.
that Trump did. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why the economy looked like that. That's what
right.
this is all about.
That is
So
true.
people got to look deeper.
Yeah.
And the black men,
But Jamie, you're right about that when people got to look deep. But what it was, they weren't going to look any deep because their pocketbook was hurting. You know, when your pocketbook hurting, you got to blame some damn body.
you're right. And I get that.
You
And
got to
I
blame
do
some damn body.
get that. But understand the process. Just don't.
Truly.
But it goes back to what we're saying as far as the voter. Ray, you made a good point before we started here. At first, I just thought it was, before I did my research, I just thought it was more of a gender thing, and it partially is. But he got a lot of the white vote,
Sure.
the majority of the white vote.
Vast majority.
Yeah, the vast majority of the white vote. Black men, you see what this person did when he was president before, and you still voted for him. You still see how you don't care. I don't know. The more educated we get, the more foolish we get. Period. I mean, that is no reason to vote for this man. I thought it was going to be just a landslide. I really did. I really did. With the abortion stuff, her being, being a woman, and I figured that women, white, black, green, yellow, purple, would vote just because of that.
Well, let me say this. Both of you have made some great points. Both of you, great points. And I want to try and chime in on both points. Yours, Russ, yours, Jamie. There's an article in U.S. News that was titled, let's see, Black and Latino voters move toward Republican Donald Trump
Yeah, sure.
in this year's presidential election. And some of the biggest shifts were among men under 45.
Yep.
And that helped expand his margin over VP Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Men, Latino, and Black under 45 shifted toward Trump and gave him a significantly higher percentage of the minority vote there.
Correct.
The other thing, that same report that I just quoted in U.S. News pointed out that the minority men, Latino and Black, they identified the economy and jobs as to what made them open to supporting Trump.
Yeah.
The economy and jobs. And it also clearly stated that a majority of young Black men voted with Trump because they described the economy as not so good or poor. Now, in many respects, people feel what they feel, but the economy improved so much, but people just weren't feeling it. They weren't
fast
feeling
enough for them.
the joblessness had decreased, the GPD increased, stock market increased. Everything was going in the right direction for the economy, but people on the ground level were not feeling it. And then you got the young Black men, young Latino men that shifted toward Trump, stating that that was their reason for doing it. So the Democrats have to blame themselves for not doing a better job of marketing the success
Right.
of Biden.
Because we didn't have it here in this county. We didn't have enough.
We certainly didn't.
We didn't have enough of marketing. And this whole thing was social media driven. Social media had a major impact on the 40, that age range that you mentioned, and guiding them, so to speak. I mean, they sit and listen. People don't research. They don't dig to find out.
No,
they don't. They're guided by the nose. And
Russ, what's your
No. What Jamie is saying is true. If you look on the paper side of it, the stat part of it, the economy began to improve.
yeah, going around.
You know, you're looking at it. But as a whole, people just didn't feel it.
weren't feeling it?
They did
Weren't
not
feeling
feel
it.
it at all. And this among black men, black women. You know, I was looking at this thing, what you were saying right here. Black women, based on what I'm looking at, 91% of black voted for. 91%. But now when you look at black men, 77.
77.
You can't win with that.
No.
Because when Obama was there, it was like 90 something. And even when Biden, it had dropped down to about 80 something. But 77.
My God, it's a serious situation. And my question to black men, why do we have to constantly beg you all to vote?
To vote.
Why?
To vote.
By now, every one of you should know the importance of casting ballots. Every one of you should be able to recognize stupidity when it's presented to you. And there was a whole lot of stupidity, racism presented to you.
A lot of it. And black men, you need to take a page out of the book of black men. Because even back in the Martin Luther King days, it was strong black women that propped this thing up and helped get this going. And you guys, black men, you're taking things for granted. You're taking it for granted. You make a little money, then you want to switch and be a Republican so you can fit in. You're never going to be seen as equal. Do what's in your heart. You know where you came from. You know where you came from. You know how hard it is. Get a little money. First thing you want to do is you want to switch parties, be Republican, and the same old nonsense. Same old nonsense. And for you idiots and idiots that are not voting, you know you're wrong. You know better. You know better.
Jamie, I want to piggyback off of a statement you made when you said they didn't do outreach even in our county. They didn't make a strong effort in Pinellas County to get the black men to vote. From my vantage point, I can only identify one effort that they made when they held a panel discussion at the Woodson Museum. They had about 6 or 7 gentlemen, Dal Roussan and John Muhammad and a few others, on a panel discussion. One panel discussion in such an important race? Come on, people. Come on. Why? When the last election ended, it was stated that the Democrats needed to do a much stronger job of reaching out to the black population, to the black male population. This was stated last election and the one before that. And here, one effort, and that was a panel discussion organized by, I think, Gwen Reese and some newly formed group called let's see, what's the name of the group? Something about a collective. Give me a second. I really want to identify that group. The group's name was The Power of the Vote Collective. The Power of the Vote Collective. Have you ever heard of that group? Have you ever heard of that group? Neither. Have you? Nobody had heard of that group. And I'm willing to bet I know the members of the group. I know the members of the group. And I think you two know the members of the group. Those crew members. those
Same old
members.
But you know what, too? And Ray is right when he's saying you got to get people to come together to discuss issues.
Get the message.
Now, just think about this, and I want to be very careful in saying this too. When is it that when will you see the mass of black people coming together? Sunday. Sunday. Where is this? And I got to be careful saying this. Churches.
Right.
You see, if we're going to reach people, here's what I believe, and I don't know how to say this, that churches now have to become more political now, today in today's world. Because that is the only time of the week on a Sunday that you're going to see a mass
That you
group of
gather.
black people.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only time.
And they used to be that way.
It used to be
It
that
used
way.
to be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This thing is something else.
You know, and other outlets like the Democratic Party could have came right here, the 99.1
Yes,
Jams. They
yes.
could have come right here to get the message out,
Yeah.
right in the community.
Black
I mean,
station.
I mean,
it
they
doesn't
didn't
make
do any
sense.
of that. They
It
didn't do any of
doesn't
that.
make sense.
Yeah.
Democratic candidates, Democratic party officials,
Mhm.
hell, Republican candidates. Here is a radio station
You
in
got-
our
In
community
our community.
that they didn't utilize.
Mhm.
When I remember after the last election, the state leaders were talking about we got to do any and everything necessary to reach the community.
Mhm.
We need to go to the newspaper. We need to go to radio stations, TV stations, clubs, organizations to reach the community. And none
None
of
of
them,
that was done.
none of them took
None of that.
advantage of this resource.
Truly.
Now we're not just
99.1 FM.
right. We're not just saying this is a Democrat only station. It's whoever want to come, whether you're Republican or Democrat or independent. But what we're saying is it was an outlet. It was an outlet for the community that could have been used. And it wasn't.
And to piggyback over Red saying, if you want to reach the community, black radio station should have been
No, my God.
should have been low.
Don should have been so busy with
Yeah.
ads that
Yeah.
he wouldn't have had
Yeah.
enough space for all the ads.
That's right. Should have been low.
Yeah.
But we got a situation in our community where a crew of people want to control everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A crew of people,
Truly.
they want to control everything.
It's poverty.
I want to make another note here. There's a consultant based in Virginia, and he said a vote for Trump was rooted in what he saw as Democrats' rhetoric not matching their actions.
That's right. It's a good way to put
For
that.
me personally,
That's a good one.
Ray Tampa, I can relate fully to this statement concerning local politics. Rhetoric not matching actions.
Right.
Let's look at the mayor. Did this press conference, beautiful press conference, all this flowery talk. Oh man, I want intentional equity baked into all city decisions, and
Mhm.
I want all policies to be
Beautiful.
focused on intentional equity. And then he goes and practices discrimination,
Yeah.
non-inclusive discrimination. So his rhetoric was all bullshit, and it still is.
Well, you know, if you go back to what Trump said some time ago, he said this to black. He said, why don't you just try me? It ain't gonna hurt, because the Democrats ain't doing shit for you.
You know, I was a solid blue. I personally was a solid blue. But I can't say it right now in terms of
Okay.
local elections. I can't because I have seen local officials ignoring people once they get in office.
Exactly.
I had a long conversation with a former leader of the Democratic Party. And she told me some very disturbing things. She's out of state right now. But we talked for a long time. And she told me some very disturbing things about relationships with the present mayor and the former mayor. I said, whoa, whoa.
It's a lot.
You know what, Ray and Jamie, what I look at when Kenny became mayor, which I voted for, I never did recognize anybody that he had working for him. So if I didn't, and I'm a common guy, what about the guy on the street? They had no idea anybody working for him. All of his people were different people.
Well, I think I mentioned in our last
Yeah.
podcast last week that people were questioning, the decisions that he made relative to his employees, his administration. Wow, why did he choose that person? Why did he choose that person?
A local person.
And as I indicated last week, maybe he was trying to distance himself from the crew.
Could have been.
From the crew. But then when those people started resigning, his deputy mayor resigned, his communications director resigned, and his chief equity officer resigned, and his next communications person resigned. What was going on with that? Bay News 9, Erica Riggins.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Everybody celebrated her coming on board.
I remember her.
That lady asked her former employer, "Can I come back?"
She's back, isn't she? Yeah.
And she's back.
Yeah,
She's back.
All this resigning sounded like the Trump administration last time.
Yeah.
But back to him with the everybody's trying to compare economies when the bottom line is, for y'all fools that voted for him, you're gonna really get it because he loves doing tariffs.
Yeah, he's a
He
tariff
loves
person.
doing tariffs.
A tariff.
He likes picking on people, bullying people. We're gonna be watch your goods and services go up. So you think you were getting something for voting for him. Watch your goods and services increase based on his nonsense.
They talked about jobs and they talked about the economy, and as we stated, that economy he inherited from Obama.
Exactly.
And COVID came around and destroyed the economy.
Truly.
And he couldn't rebuild it. He couldn't.
And you're so right. See, that's what they blame Biden for.
Yeah, because we getting his mess. He benefited off President Obama.
Yeah.
The hard work he did, and Trump ain't know what the hell he was doing as president to start.
No
with.
way.
He's dumb as a rock. I mean, his fame or whatever got him in there, and racist people that want to vote that want to follow that nonsense. Because when he was running and all the stuff he did, that man was evil. How could you even vote for someone like that? And they did it again.
And you got all of his former colleagues, all the people in his cabinet, not all of them, a vast majority of them, that said that this man has no business going back into the White House.
Okay, let's talk about the felonies. How in the hell you become a president when you're a convicted felon? How in the hell? They should throw away all felony cases, give everybody a clean slate. This is ridiculous. We got a felon for president. And we look like a fool for the rest of the world. The rest of the world, we look like, what the hell is going on in America?
Well, let's go back to the black males and their involvement in the process or lack thereof. What can we do to increase black male participation? What can we do?
I feel like the education needs to be out there. I think it needs to be more outlets because it really needs to be out there because you got a bunch of complainers. Just like I was saying, even standing in the line. If you want to stand in the line, do your mail-in ballot. Do what you need to do, but you got to be a part of the process. You got to be a part of the process. And just talking under the tree or at a bar with your buddy, you ain't solving nothing. Nothing is getting done. It's done with a vote. And you guys need to understand what our forefathers did back in the day just to be able to vote. And you guys piss it away. You piss it away.
And the thing about it, Jamie, one last thing. The thing about it, it's so easy to register to vote. And it's so easy to cast your ballot. If you don't want to stand in that line, there's enough time ahead of the voting at the polling place to mail it in or take it to the supervisor of elections office. That's what I did.
Uh-huh.
I knew I wasn't going to go stand in a line.
I didn't.
So I took my ballot to the supervisor of elections office on Starkey Road.
What's that?
So easy.
They wait in line for something free. What's this, Black Friday? They wait in line for that? They wait in line and you ain't promised. They have 25 things that they're giving away and you got 1,000 people in line, but they wait in line for that. But you can't wait in line to do that?
Okay,
Something
so
important?
there again, right now you said education, and that is important. If we can educate them on the easiness of voting, maybe that'll help them. The easiness. And if they don't know the issues, there are too many outlets for them to get help with the voter guide. Too many ways to get help with the voter guide. Let's come up with one more way that we think can help get more black men to the polls.
But our
Yeah,
young people
go
are
on, Jim.
getting, I'm sorry, Russell,
No,
but
no,
our
no,
young
no,
people
no.
with this social media,
Yeah.
they're listening to one side. They're getting bamboozled. They really are.
Sure.
They're getting played, and they've gotten played. We've gotten played because we got this fool back in.
What'd you say, Russ?
No, I was going to say one way is getting back to black radio station. We got to tie more political things into these black radio stations because they're on the air. People listen to it. I know they do.
I want you to understand what
Yeah.
you're saying. They know this.
They know.
Those same people that
Yeah.
didn't support him
Know that.
this time around,
Yeah. No,
they supported him the last.
that's right.
I did a caravan for Ken Welch. We had so many cars you couldn't see the end of the caravan from the front of the caravan. My red Cadillac is what Ken Welch rode in with me. And when he got in my car, the first thing Ken Welch did was to reach over and turn my radio on so that he could hear his ad on 99.1 FM.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a lot of ads on 99.1 FM. But maybe because we did a podcast slamming his stupid butt, he didn't want to support the radio station. But Renee Flowers, she bought a 30-minute slot of time on this radio station.
Good.
And she asked me to interview her during that 30-minute slot of time on this station. And Deborah Fix Sanders and the school board person, Caprice Edmonds, they all advertised right here. What happened to them this time? The click. The click.
But
That stupid ass click.
I do agree with Russ about churches getting back into the scene now. Part of this makes me wonder too, if we didn't hear much from churches or as far as their involvement in this because of the abortion thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With religion and all that.
Yeah.
Abortion, I still think it's up to the woman. I still think it's up to the woman. I've always have. But churches owe the community that to get involved and to educate because you're getting all this tax-free money. So
See, Jamie, I'm glad that you said it because when I talked to a guy in church, this is what he threw up to me. You said a few minutes ago. He said, well, Cato, it's separation of state income. Because they believe if they get involved in politics, they lose that money.
That's the black
See,
churches that are thinking
Yeah,
that way.
that's what I'm
The
saying.
white churches don't give a
they
damn
don't give a damn.
because they're kicking that line.
Exactly.
they jump all across that line
yeah.
like double dutch.
Yeah, double dutch.
Evangelicals do it heavily.
Heavily.
Yes, they do.
There was a man, a preacher, I can't remember his name. He stood in his pulpit and said, if you are going to vote Democrat, or if you are a Democrat, I don't want you in here.
Whoa.
He yelled that.
Really?
He yelled that to his
Yeah.
parishioners. If you're a Democrat, or if you support Democrats, I don't want you in here. Stupid
He was
ass.
white,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at any rate, gentlemen, as always, we've had a good discussion. We're at the end. And I want to thank my two co-hosts for a job well done. As always, I want to thank you, the listening audience, for tuning in to the Ray Tampa podcast on 99.1 FM, The Berg. And we ask that you go to YouTube, type in the Ray Tampa podcast, and you can see them all. And with all of that being said, good evening.